Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today is your City Administrator Chad Brecklin. Chad, welcome into the brand new Talking Fitchburg studio. More importantly, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jeremy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad you could be here in person, and glad we can get an update for you.
It is great to be in person.
So what do you think?
Looks awesome. Well done.
Right, yeah.
My compliments to the construction crew that put this together.
Yeah, I hope those guys get a raise.
Yeah. We'll have to talk to folks that might be capable of pulling that off.
Not you, got it. No, it is. It turned out really nice. We got a shelving that we're going to add in. We want to get to construction projects because we got a lot of them going on, and they both are on Lacey. That's how it works here. We're going to start with Lacey and Sain Road. We had a project that started earlier this year with closing up that intersection, and we were hoping to be moving on to the next part, but you're here to tell me
that we're hoping to move on to the next part just later than we had initially hoped. So unfortunately, due to some delays, that intersection is going to remain closed, likely into July. And that'll give us an opportunity, obviously, to hopefully wrap things up there. But it also, could potentially be delayed longer. I hate to say that that's a possibility, but working through some logistical challenges right now, and hopefully we will be able to open that intersection and move on to the next phase as quickly as we can.
And theoretically, the work has been started at the other intersection. They're just going to continue that, so it's coming. But that intersection at Sain and Lacey is a little complicated, right? Because you got the railroad there. You got, it makes it interesting. Yeah. So we'll keep you up to date. But you got to continue to just go around that for now. You still have access to the businesses in the corridor there, so be patient, and hopefully by the time you come back in July, you'll be saying, "Hey, we're opening that one up. We're closing the other one," which they will move to East Sherrill Parkway and Sain Road for work, and that's going to close.
Yeah. So both of those intersections are getting signals, and that's what's causing the closure. Lacey and Sain requires a little more logistical work, largely because of the proximity of the railroad tracks that you had mentioned to that intersection. Plus, there's a number of utilities that we're trying to get relocated, and there's where the logistical challenges are, is to getting the various utility providers' schedules to align with the road closure in order to get that work done to allow all of the work to wrap up there. So hopefully it'll all come together here in the next month, and we'll be able to move on, and the remainder of that section for this year will be done. And then, of course, we might be talking about it again next year.
Well, because there is another phase to this project.
There is one more phase,
and that, that has been laid out, and we've had some public meetings on that. By the way, you can go to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, under the Project Engineering tab to find out more information on all the projects that we discuss here. And, of course, we'll continue to update. All right, let's go down the other part of Lacey Road. You just passed City Hall, you passed Fish Hatchery Road, and you see some road closure signs because Lacey and Seminole now closed for work. What's going on?
So Lacey and Seminole has now been closed as of Monday, June 12th, for work on the intersection specifically. So there is a roundabout that's going in at Lacey and Seminole, so that's why there's a closure there now, so that work can begin and be completed. It started, we waited to start until after the schools ended for the school year, which was just right before the 12th, and then ideally, if everything goes according to plan, we will have that roundabout complete in advance of school beginning in the fall this year. So hopefully things all cooperate, align, weather's great, and we're not talking about delays as we get into August.
And we say that lovingly here because you never know with construction. I mean, that's the bottom line.
There's a lot of pieces that have to fit together to make it all happen.
It does. Now, the road has been closed basically at that intersection. And what's been happening, I guess, further to the west up to Fitch-Rona? Because that is, if you haven't been down there and looked, man, that's changed.
Yeah. So that road is being reconstructed. It was a rural township road, basically, for all intents and purposes, and now it's under reconstruction to make it more urbanized. So we have some bit wider lane width, bike lanes, a shared use path, I think, is scheduled to go in on the north side. Intersection with Commerce Park is being put in, so you'll be able to obviously get into the Commerce Park area from Lacey Road now. And if I recall correctly, there's also some shaving of some elevations and inclines through that stretch as well. So lots of work.
I think that's what you see. That is you're right. That is exactly the spot. You see it there as you crest the hill, or what was the hill.
Right.
So it does look interesting. But I was thinking back, like, started in 2010. There was nothing out there.
No.
And that just truly makes sense why this has to be updated.
Right. Well, we already have, a fair amount of development to the north. More is potentially possible. There's still some vacant land to the north, on the north side of Lacey Road, that could be developed. And we have our first development project to the south, which is the Edgewood Athletic Campus. And we're also now soon to be beginning a neighborhood plan for the South Stoner Prairie neighborhood, which is about 275 acres south of Lacey Road, west of Fitzgerona, east of Fitzgerona, and west of Seminole Highway. So
there's just
a couple of things going on over there.
No big deal.
Yeah. Staff has been busy between a number of things there just in that portion of town.
Certainly have. One thing that we have noticed since this closure went up, specifically at this intersection, but it's something we've actually talked about in your multiple hats that you've had with the city, but moving construction barriers, going around construction barriers, it's a problem, and it's been a problem to kick this off right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I can't even say, Chad, what do you say?
I mean, it's one of those things that for some reason continues to happen. And, it seems every time the city or really anybody does a road construction project and you put barricades up that say the road is closed, inevitably people move the barricades and or otherwise just disregard those barricades. And it creates a potential for a really bad situation, whether it's for the motorist that chooses to go through there, whether it's perhaps another motorist who doesn't, maybe the signs were moved in such a way that they now don't see them clearly. And, they come in unknowingly into a full construction area. And then, of course, the workers who are within that area are potentially put at risk. So we do ask folks that they exercise patience and, for the process, patience for getting where they need to get to. We understand it's an inconvenience, but we want people to be safe. And we want folks, when they all find their alternate route, to also drive respectfully, obey the speed limit, recognize they're now probably driving through someone's residential neighborhood, and to, again, just slow down and take your time.
Why, when we pick detour routes, Chad, maybe just open the door a little bit on this or shed some light for us. Why is it important to take that detour route and not the shortcut?
Yeah, well, the detour routes are designed to be able to accommodate the type of traffic and the volume of traffic that would typically be on that type of road. So, for instance, a Lacey Road type and volume of traffic probably needs to be detoured to Wayland Road in order to accommodate that. Is it likely the shortest, quickest route? Probably not, but that's how we need to post those detours, is that all types of vehicles that would potentially use that route are utilizing a similar route. The last thing we'd want to do is route a detour through a residential neighborhood that might have trucks or other large vehicles, for instance, regularly utilizing the route.
Yeah. No, thank you for talking a little bit about that. Certainly, we hear you out there that we know that this is going on, and we are going to continue to do our part to get the information out, spread the word, and just take it slow. No matter what construction project you come upon, take it slow and be aware of your surroundings as you go through them. We're going to change hard gears here into the budget time. Capital improvement plan this week kicked off. Well, the mayor's proposed plan came out earlier, but this week we also had our city presentations, which you can watch here on Fact TV.
Yeah.
But more importantly, Chad, as you look at what was presented this year, what is it and what should we be looking forward to?
Yeah, so the capital improvement plan is our 10-year plan that we put together for capital expenditures. We're talking city facilities, large pieces of equipment replacement, those sorts of things end up in the CIP as we refer to it. The first 5 years are things that are most likely to happen. The second 5 years are out there on the horizon. They may or may not happen, but we at least want to be able to demonstrate what might be lined up over the next 10 years so that folks have an idea of what they might be expecting. Staff has put together all of their appropriate requests and proposals, and the mayor, as you mentioned, has gone through all of those with the assistance of our finance director, Misty Dodge, and I, and has ultimately released the proposed plan Staff was presenting their proposals to the entire Finance Committee and other alders this week so that they could outline the basic information and be available for any questions. Of course, as always, there'll be an opportunity for public input, a couple of opportunities, I think one in June and one in July, for folks to comment on the at the public hearings for the CIP. And of course, they can always reach out to their elected representatives and share their thoughts as well that way.
And then you will hear budget, if you didn't already hear it, at the Common Council meeting, the budget schedule being adopted. But how does that transfer then to the budget for next year?
Yeah, so the budget schedule that was just adopted at the council meeting this week actually pertains to the operating budget, which is our people, the salary, benefits, operating expenses throughout the year that really help us deliver the services that we provide to our community. That schedule was just approved this week, which means we're going to continue to be in budget season as we work to now transition later in July to fully operational budget planning. And I think it's September, mid to late September, when the mayor's budget will be released on the operating side. And then, of course, there'll be opportunity for amendments and public input and those sorts of things through that process, which I'm going to assume that I'll be invited back to talk about that. So we can probably cover that again in more detail as we get closer there.
We're just blending the two together right now, just laying the foundation.
Sometimes it seems like they're blended because there is a little bit of overlap.
There's a saying in Wisconsin, there's two seasons, right? Winter and road construction. Whatever the case, we're here to deal with that, certainly. Finally, with the last bit of time we have here, Juneteenth coming up. This year, the city, we've celebrated Juneteenth in different ways, but this year, the city will be closing on June 19th. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so in this year's operating budget, former Mayor Richardson had included recognition of Juneteenth as an official city holiday. As we may recall, the federal government recognized it as a federal holiday. I believe in 2021 it was the first occurrence where it was recognized federally. So what that means is that City Hall will be closed on June 19th in observance of Juneteenth. The council approved that budget information as part of the process. So again, leads to the observation here at City Hall. And then of course our senior center is also planning an event for June 16th from I believe 11:30 to 2:30. Where there'll be some food cart available, some music, and then a raising of the Juneteenth flag around 12:30.
Perfect. That's Chad Brecklin, your City Administrator. We'll check back in with you next month.
Sounds great.